It's Ron Reader Digs the Universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe. And tonight, the Minnesota trans killer. Last Wednesday, 23-year-old Robin Westman shot up Annunciation Church and School in Minneapolis, where she was a former student. 3 dead, including the shooter who shot herself, and 18 injured, including 15 children. The shooting happened during morning mass, which prompted a disgusted city mayor, Jacob Frey, to say, "Don't tell me this is about thoughts and prayers. These kids were literally praying." Ah, yes. Thoughts and prayers. The traditional condolence offered by First Amendment enthusiasts immediately following a school shooting, usually paired with an admonition against talking about the politics of guns too soon after a gun tragedy. Never mind the fact that continual gun tragedies mean that the nation is always mourning, and there is therefore never a time to discuss gun violence. Focus instead on the fact that what thoughts and prayers really mean is shut the fuck up about gun control. It's a diversion, a dodge, a cop-out, and decent people have gotten so sick of hearing it that they're preemptively responding to it. Maybe that's why conservatives have been getting more exotic with their distractions from gun violence. So for this shooting in Minnesota, they're all screeching about left-wing terrorism, that Westman was a leftist, and that this was political violence. And maybe that's the case. You know, there is some evidence suggesting that the shooter might have some left-wing leanings. I mean, usually, almost always, these shooters are right-wingers. After all, they're the ones who've got all the guns, but anything's possible in this day and age. On the other hand, there's evidence suggesting that Westman also had sympathies with right-wing groups and causes, most notably white supremacist massacres. Sounds more like a nihilist to me. She even wrote of her coming attack, "The message is there is no message." Some people just like to watch the world burn, eh? But an even more exotic distraction from gun violence conservatives are pushing here is to observe over and over that the shooter was a trans person. Like that has a direct connection to the killings, even though it doesn't. 95% of mass gun murderers are cisgender males, and for that matter, trans people are far more likely to be victims of gun violence than they are to commit it. But I can see why conservatives are attracted to this fake idea, the trans gun massacre. Not only does it enable their long-standing false assertion that trans people are mentally ill by their very nature, but it also allows them to tie it to another favorite distraction from gun violence: mental health. As in, it's not the guns, we need to do more about mental health. I agree that we need to do more about mental health just generally, but that's not gonna stop gun violence, especially if we're talking about red flags and mental health interventions, because that shit doesn't work. There are always red flags and nothing happens. For that matter, I don't even know that anything should happen. We're gonna incarcerate people just because they creep us out? So, mental health isn't a solution. Attacking transgender people or any other vulnerable population isn't a solution either. Thoughts and prayers make us all want to throw up now. The only thing to do here was what the right wing tries so hard to get us not to do, and that's to talk about gun control immediately, all the time. Whether it's rude or not, that's the only way we're ever going to stop the carnage. Gun control. I'm Ron Reeder, and this has been Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reeder, again next week for another episode of Ron Reeder Digs the Universe.